Hello, everybody, and welcome to S3Living's weekly real estate update. The show is an opportunity to discuss what's happened last week in the national market as well as in our local markets. And then we'll touch on an interesting piece of housing news from recent days. And as this is new, leave me a comment with your thoughts and your feedback. I'm your host, David Reepstein from S3Living, and we'll release these videos every Tuesday. So don't forget to tune in. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and you'll see these videos every week. Also, you know what's going on with the inventory. Let's talk about what's going on with the inventory last week nationally and what that will mean for us locally here in Eastern Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. The following data is from Housing Wire and Altos Research. Let me share my screen here. The weekly inventory change from March 1st to March 8th in 2024, the inventory increased from, this is on a national basis, increased from 498,000 to 500,000. The same week a year ago in 2023, it decreased from 419 to 413,000. So the all-time inventory bottom was in 2022. In 2022 with 240,000, and the inventory peak was for 2023 was at 569, which is up here. We were back at that in October, but now we've come back down, as you can see, in 2024 in April, excuse me, in March. And the active listings, just as a reference, the active listings in 2025, well before the pandemic, were at 971,000. So we've gone from that peak of 971 to a little bit more than half of that, to 500,000 listings on a national basis. And this chart, you can see the inventory is slightly picking up, and that's relatively good news for the housing market as we are in need of more inventory. We'll see if that's the same for the case for the local Eastern Montgomery County market. Now let's turn our attention to the national new listings data. While new listing data is increasing yearly, it does remain low in 2024 as compared to the 2022 spring market. So there's hope among national prognosticators that a rebound in new listings to match the levels we've seen in previous spring sessions is coming. Let me share my screen and I can show you what that looks like. So the dark red line indicates that the mark is almost at 60,000, which is above, these are new listings, above where we were in 2023, which is the darker red line, and then almost at the same as where we were in 2022. So hopefully we can keep the trend up where the dark red line of 2024 is at least as high as the 2023 line. Now let's take a look at the local inventory, and for purposes of this video, we'll be looking at Eastern Montgomery County, which includes the following school districts: Abington, Cheltenham, Hatboro, Horsham, Jenkintown, Lower Moreland Township, Springfield Township, Upper Dublin, Upper Moreland, and Wissahickon. So as of March 11th, yesterday, there were 205 homes available in this, and this is the active inventory. This inventory changes from 1 to 2 to 3 houses per day as more houses come on the market and more houses get sold, go pending, or active under agreement. And the other caveat here is that it's difficult to actually find an active inventory number because the inventory changes at a relatively quick pace. So for historic purposes, I can show you this active inventory sheet for the year. This shows you that the date range, sorry, the PDF got a little screwed up. The date range is from March 23rd to February 24th, and the active number of homes for that year in Eastern Montgomery County was 1,617, 1,600. So the that averages to about 134 per month, which is considerably less than the 205 that we have active now. And let's look at the new listings for the past week, and it'll show you something a little bit surprising, actually. The number of homes that came on the market this week, meaning the week ended on March 11th, which was yesterday, was 25 homes, whereas the prior week there were 14, the prior week was 14, and the prior week to that, the second week in February was 8. So there are a considerable, almost double the number of homes that came on the market this week as compared to the last couple of weeks. And one of the reasons why inventory may be picking up nationally and locally is that interest rates have been at or above 7% for a while now. They have come down a little bit in the past 4 weeks, and we'll see that in a little bit. But even though they have come down a little bit, the higher rates may contribute to less number of sales, which means more inventory are coming online, both in the new and the active inventory. But we'll get to more on interest rates at the end of the show. But now I want to draw your attention to the most interesting thing that I saw in the real estate news in the past week, and that is real estate housing market pricing predictions. So what's likely to happen to home prices in the next year? And for that, I want to call our attention to an article that came out a couple of weeks ago. It is the home price expectations from 100 plus panelists. And they expect mortgage rates to end in a median of 6% over at the end of 2024. But what's also interesting is there's home price growth in the outlook. A panel of housing experts focused on the national average home price and decided that the survey determined that there would be a growth of 3.8 in 2024 and 3.4 in 2025. And that was as of Q1 2024 in this survey. But what's interesting is that the survey has called for home price appreciation greater than they did in the fourth quarter of 2023. In the 2023, it was 2.4 and 2.7 for 2024 and 2025, whereas now it's 3.8 and 3.4 for those same years. So what are the factors that are driving this pricing revision upwards? An increased number of the panelists, 41%, indicated that there was a higher upside risk to the home price forecast based on lower interest rates by the end of the year. And that the ongoing housing supply constraints also contributed to the upward revisions. And so that's very interesting as it relates to a change in the predicting that prices will go up more so by the end of the year than they did in the prior quarter. So let's end today's schedule let's end today's show with a check on the 30-year fixed interest rate. And I can bring that up from a chart of activity. Let's see where that is. Here we go. And this is from the Mortgage News Daily, the 30-year fixed mortgage rates. As you can see, they are trending a little bit lower than 7%, but they were higher than that as earlier in the year. March 12th, actually today, we have a 6.92, which is a little bit higher than 6.87, but you can see that the last 5 days have been in the sixes, coming off of a 7.03% for March 5th. So that is our show this week. Hopefully the mortgage rates will continue to decrease as predicted. Hopefully we'll see a 6.5 or 6.25 by the end of the year, and 3, 2, 1. So that is a roundup of what's going on with the 30-year fixed interest rate. Thank you for watching our first edition of the S3 Living Real Estate Roundup. Please like and subscribe to this video, And if you have any questions, leave some comments below and I will respond, and hopefully we can have a nice discussion, and I'll see you next week. Take care.